Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Welcome to UMTMOOC Open Online Course for Wildlife Management. Now it is my turn to give the next lecture topic, which is exotic species. So the outline of this topic will include of what is an exotic species, how does exotic species is introduced, what type of harm does an exotic species do, example of a case study about red palm weevil, what can we do to fight exotic species, and last but not least, the conclusion of this topic. What is an exotic species? Exotic species are organisms that are introduced to a region or ecosystem, often unintentionally through human migration or trade. Exotic species is also known as alien species, invasive species, non-indigenous species, and bioinvaders. Exotic species have been moved by humans to areas outside of their native ranges. Here are some examples of exotic species that can be found in our ecosystem, such as zebra mussel, fire ants, Norway rat, gypsy moth, mons parakeet, and Mimosa pudica. Next is how does exotic species is introduced to our ecosystem. A species is considered introduced when its transport into an area outside of its native range is human mediated. Introductions by humans can be described as either accidental or intentional. The accidental introductions of exotic species has been carried out for many years, both voluntarily and accidentally, many from the ballast water of shipping vessel or from pet trade, which have been escaped from cavity or cultivated populations. Whereas the intentional introductions have been motivated by individuals or groups who either believed that the newly introduced species will be in some way beneficial to humans in its new location, or species are introduced intentionally but with no regard to the potential impact. Next is the problem arises when of these species established, it will reproduce successfully and disperse from the introduction zone, causing true pests. So, what type of harm does an exotic species do? Since exotic species are in a new environment, free from natural predators, parasites or competitors, they often develop large population sizes very rapidly. Some also have the potential to disrupt vital ecosystem functions such as water flow, nutrient cycling, or soil decomposition. When a new pest species is introduced, the defenses of the native species are not prepared to counter the attacks of the new pest. Therefore, significant losses are often experienced. These high populations can outcompete, displace, or kill native species, or can reduce wildlife food and habitat. Other invasive species can cause massive amounts of economic damage to the agricultural business by destroying crops and contaminating produce. Some invasive species can cause direct harm, such as diseases to humans or domestic animals. Now, I would like to share with you a short video on the red palm weevil or Rhicophorus ferruginous, a new invasive insect pest of coconut palm in Malaysia. This video was produced by Department of Agriculture Malaysia for AgroJournal, a documentary program TV of RTM1.
Dalam diam, si merah meluaskan kuasa di semenanjung Malaysia. Serangan dikesan pada tahun 2010. Rutapai antara lokasi serangan yang dikenal pasti. Dari Terengganu, serangan digerakkan ke beberapa lokasi di sekitar negeri jiran, iaitu Kelantan. Begitulah ganasnya si merah atau lebih dikenali kumbang merah palma.
Secara umumnya, kitar hidup red palm weevil mengambil masa dalam tempoh 4 hingga 5 bulan dan ia melibatkan 4 jenis peringkat yang berbeza iaitu peringkat telur, larvae, pupa dan juga dewasa. Berdasarkan rekod terdahulu, seekor betina red palm weevil mampu bertelur sehingga 500 biji telur sepanjang hayatnya. Dan selepas telur red palm weevil tersebut menetas, iaitu mengambil masa 3 hingga 5 hari, larvae akan mula memakan umbut ataupun tisu yang lembut yang berada dalam umbut kelapa. Dan dari situ, larvae akan membesar dan terus membesar sepanjang lebih kurang 8 hingga 9 instar. Dan waktu itu, apa yang berlaku, umbut kelapa dah mula hancur dan ataupun musnah sama sekali. Dan larvae pada instar terakhir ini akan bergerak daripada kawasan umbut kelapa ke bahagian pelepah kelapa di mana di situ terdapat banyak sumber fiber. Di situ late instar larvae akan mengkonstruk kokon daripada fiber pelepah kelapa dan akan berhibernate selama dalam tempoh 1 bulan, dan dari situ juga pupa akan bertransformasi membentuk dewasa. Dan dalam tempoh 1 hingga 2 bulan, dewasa akan keluar ataupun emerge daripada sarang kokon tersebut dan akan keluar daripada pokok kelapa yang diinvest ke perumah kelapa ataupun yang pokok kelapa lain yang berada di sekitar di situ.
Selain Malaysia, kumbang merah palma juga menyerang tanaman di Afrika, Timur Tengah, Eropah dan Amerika Utara. Di Malaysia, kumbang merah palma dipercayai memasuki negara menerusi pintu sempadan di Terengganu, Kelantan, Perlis, Kedah dan Pulau Pinang. Sehingga kini, sejumlah 294 hektar daripada 2,730 hektar kawasan kelapa telah pun musnah akibat serangan kumbang merah palma. Untuk mengatasi masalah kumbang merah palma, Jabatan Pertanian terpaksa membelanjakan RM4 juta dalam setahun bagi membendung, mengawal dan menghapuskan kumbang merah palma.
Untuk kaedah kawalan red palm weevil ni, secara umumnya kita menggunakan kaedah IPM iaitu Integrated Pest Management yang merangkumi kaedah kawalan kimia, kaedah kawalan fizikal dan juga kawalan biologi. Jadi di Universiti Malaysia Terengganu, kami sekarang ini sedang menjalankan kajian menggunakan kulat entomopathogen iaitu Metarhizium anisopleae sebagai satu ejen kawalan biologi kepada red palm weevil. Kulat ini dia very species specific, di mana dia akan hanya menyerang serangga sahaja, dan kulat ini dia tidak membahayakan persekitaran, maksudnya dia adalah environmental friendly dan dia tidak akan mengganggu perumah ataupun host, khususnya pokok kelapa, dan tidak akan mengganggu kesihatan manusia. Dan kajian kami mendapati satu strain Metarhizium yang kami isolate daripada Terengganu ini mampu membunuh red palm weevil kurang daripada 2 minggu. Jadi kaedah ini kita dapati amat berjaya dalam lab, iaitu dalam keadaan makmal, dan sekarang ini kita dalam tempoh percubaan untuk mengaplikasikan kaedah kawalan biologi menggunakan kulat entomopathogen ini di lapangan. Jadi pada pendapat kami, untuk mengawal red palm weevil ni kita perlu mengintegrasikan 3 kaedah, iaitu kaedah kawalan biologi, kaedah kawalan fizikal dan juga kaedah kawalan kimia untuk memastikan rancangan untuk pengurusan red palm weevil ini berjalan dengan berjaya.
The red palm weevil or RPW, Rhycophorus fragilis, is an economically important pest of palms in many parts of the world. The red palm weevil, or Rhycophorus fragilis, is an economically important pest in many parts of the world and has been listed as a serious pest by European and Mediterranean Plant Protection Organization. This weevil is a concealed tissue borer that attacks more than 26 palm species worldwide belonging to 16 genera, including coconuts, oil palm, and sago palm. The RPW is most destructive on date palms, especially in the Middle East. In India and Sri Lanka, RPW is reported to be a serious pest of coconut and oil palm, and it can completely destroy the plants. In 1994, the RPW was found in southern Spain and other European countries. This weevil was first reported in the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia in the early 2007, where it is now causing severe damage to coconut palms.
However, in 2016, the RPW has been reported in 5 states: Perlis, Kedah, Pulau Pinang, Terengganu, and Kelantan. RPW is widely distributed in many geographical areas as it has spread from its native Southeast Asia to Asia, including China and India, Northern Africa, the Middle East, Europe, Oceania, Australia, Papua New Guinea, and the Caribbean to Aruba and Curacao. The weevil is believed to be introduced by date palm trees, which were brought in across the border either for the date palm plantation or landscaping purpose without proper quarantine several years back. These pictures show some of the damages caused by RPW to coconut palms, especially in Terengganu. When the coconut trees are infected, the shoots turn brown and later become dry. Usually, the apical shoots are destroyed, broken, and showed signs of wilting and drooping of dried leaves like umbrella shape or skirting shape, which indicate the critical stage of infestation. As such, the damage is devastating and causes the break of the crown or stem of the tree and immediate death of the palm. This weevil is presumed to be one of the aggressive pests that will threaten the survival of oil palm, which represents the backbone of Malaysia's commodity. Malaysia has more than 5 million hectares of oil palm, which provides a stable source of income to many smallholders and the Federal Land Development or FELDA settlers of the country. Therefore, urgent action is crucially required to avoid significant economic yield losses before it is too late. The simplest and most important thing anybody can do to help fight exotic species is to prevent its introduction and establishment. Prevention. Prevention is early detection and eradication of introduced species is the most economical and effective means of invasive management. Current practices for invasive species management involve mechanical control, cultural control, and insecticide or chemical applications. However, chemical treatments lead to the development of resistance and potential for negative effects to the environment, and therefore alternative methods using biological control should be considered. The increasing concerns over environmental pollution, human health risks, and insect resistance, as well as effects on non-target organisms, have stimulated research on alternative control strategies and their use within integrated pest management programs. So we have finally come to the end of this topic. I hope this topic will give you more understanding on the impact of exotic species to our ecosystem and how can we do to control the expansion of the exotic species. Therefore, in order to control these expansion species, please report any occurrence of invasive species to your local county extension agent, state forestry agency, or to other federal or state natural resource or agricultural agencies. Thank you and all the best, especially to your assignments.